Admiral Hyun-woo Kim sat in his command chair aboard the Deep Space Monitoring Station, drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming. The massive display screens around him lit up with red warnings as his crew rushed to their stations. "Sir, we have multiple contacts emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system," reported Lieutenant Sujin Kwan, her voice tight with tension. "They're huge, Admiral. Bigger than anything we've ever built." Hyun-woo set down his coffee and leaned forward, watching the data stream across his screens. 27 massive ships had appeared from nowhere, their dark hulls gleaming with alien technology. Each vessel was easily 10 times larger than Earth's biggest battleship. "Get me President So-young Park immediately," Hyun-woo ordered, "and patch me through to Defense Minister Dong-hyun Lee. Tell them this is Priority Alpha." Within minutes, the alien fleet broadcast a message across all human communication channels. The voice was cold and mechanical, speaking perfect English through advanced translation systems. "Primitive species of the third planet, you will surrender unconditionally within 72 hours. Your resistance is futile. Comply or your world will be cleansed. This is the only warning you will receive." The message repeated in dozens of Earth's languages, each translation perfectly accurate. Hyun-woo felt a chill run down his spine. These aliens had studied humanity carefully, learning their languages and customs before making contact. President So-young Park arrived at the emergency bunker beneath Seoul within an hour. The Situation Room filled quickly with Earth's top military and scientific leaders. Defense Minister Dong-hyun Lee spread holographic displays showing Earth's military capabilities across the table. "We have 300 combat vessels in active service," Dong-hyun explained, his face grim. "Our newest ships carry fusion missiles and plasma cannons. Against a single alien vessel, we might have a chance. Against 27 of them," he shook his head. Scientific advisor Ji-hai Choi stepped forward, her tablet displaying classified research data. "There might be another option, Madam President. For the past 15 years, we've been working on Project Prometheus in complete secrecy." So-young raised an eyebrow. Even as president, there were military projects she didn't know about. "Explain." "We've had contact with alien technology before," Ji-hai said quietly. 3 crashed vessels over the past 50 years, all covered up. We reverse-engineered their systems and discovered something remarkable about quantum mechanics that even they don't fully understand. The room fell silent. First contact with aliens wasn't really first contact at all. "We've built quantum-linked weapon systems," Ji-hai continued. "They can strike targets instantly across vast distances without traditional energy signatures. The aliens won't see them coming because they don't work like normal weapons." Meanwhile, Captain Min-ho Kang piloted his experimental stealth frigate, Silent Storm, toward the alien fleet. His ship was invisible to most sensors, using technology humanity had developed from studying crashed alien vessels. As he approached the massive ships, he recorded everything his instruments could detect. "These aren't warships," Min-ho reported back to Earth. "They're automated patrol vessels, big and scary looking, but designed for intimidation rather than actual combat. I'm seeing minimal crew signatures and standardized weapon layouts." Back on the alien command ship, War Commander Vexthar reviewed the data his fleet had gathered about Earth. According to their intelligence, humans were a young species with basic technology. They had achieved spaceflight only recently and showed no signs of advanced weapon systems. "This should be simple," he told his science navigator Ithara. "Standard intimidation protocol followed by orbital bombardment if they refuse to surrender. We've done this 300 times before." Ithara nodded, but something bothered her about the human response. "Commander, their communication networks are more sophisticated than our intelligence suggested, and I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from their moon and the 4th planet." "Impossible," Vexthar dismissed her concerns. "Our scouts were thorough. These humans barely understand fusion power." To demonstrate their superiority, the aliens fired a focused energy beam at one of Earth's military satellites. The satellite vaporized instantly, its destruction broadcast live across every human communication network. The message was clear. Resistance was pointless. But President So-Young Park studied the alien transmission carefully with her language experts. The ultimatum followed an exact pattern, using the same phrases and timing as if it were read from a script. They've done this before, she realized. Many times this is routine for them, which means they've never encountered serious resistance, added Defense Minister Dong Hyun. They expect us to surrender because everyone else always has. Dr. Tae-Young Han, head of Earth's Quantum Research Division, stood before a massive underground facility built into the far side of the moon. Quantum artillery platforms stretched as far as the eye could see, their crystalline surfaces humming with barely contained energy. 30 years of preparation, he said to his team. Every crashed alien ship, every piece of technology we've recovered, led to this moment. They think they're dealing with primitive humans who just learned to fly between planets. Engineer Hai-Jin Lim monitored the quantum network from her station on Mars. All platforms are online, Dr. Han. We have coverage throughout the solar system and beyond. When you give the order, we can reach targets they think are impossible to hit. As the 72-hour deadline approached, world leaders gathered in emergency sessions. Most wanted to surrender immediately, terrified by the alien demonstration of power. But So-Young Park had made her decision. We've spent centuries fighting each other, she told the United Earth Council. Every war, every conflict taught us how to adapt and overcome seemingly impossible odds. These aliens have conquered hundreds of worlds, but they've never faced anyone who fought back. Lieutenant Soo-Jin Kwan of Earth's Intelligence Corps accessed decades of intercepted alien communications. Madam President, we've been monitoring their networks longer than they realize. We know their patrol routes, their supply lines, their communication protocols. They're not prepared for an enemy who understands their weaknesses. With 6 hours remaining until the deadline, So-Young Park walked onto the broadcast platform. The entire world watched as she prepared to address not just humanity, but the alien fleet waiting to destroy them. Citizens of Earth, she began, today we face a choice that will define our species forever. We can surrender and accept slavery, or we can show the galaxy what it means to be human. She turned toward the cameras broadcasting to the alien fleet. War Commander Vexithar, you have given us an ultimatum. Now humanity gives you one in return. President So-Young Park stood before the cameras, her voice steady as she delivered humanity's response to the galaxy. War Commander Vexithar, you gave us 72 hours to surrender. We give you 48 hours to leave our solar system. If you refuse, you will face consequences beyond your comprehension. The transmission ended, leaving stunned silence aboard the alien command ship. Vexithar stared at his communication officer, unable to process what he had just heard. Did that primitive just threaten us? He asked Ithara, his voice filled with disbelief. It appears so, Commander, Ithara replied, checking her data systems. In over 300 conquest campaigns, no species has ever issued a counter-ultimatum. Our tactical computers have no response protocols for this scenario. Vexthar's mandibles clicked in what his species considered laughter. They must be insane. A few metal ships and chemical rockets against the might of the Galactic Empire. But Ithara felt growing unease as she studied her sensor readings. Commander, I'm detecting energy signatures that don't match our intelligence reports. There are installations on their moon and the fourth planet that weren't there when our scouts last visited. Impossible. Vexthar waved her concerns away. We surveyed this system thoroughly. These humans have barely mastered atomic power. Deep beneath the lunar surface, Dr. Tae-Young Han walked through the quantum weapons facility with a mixture of pride and fear. Crystalline arrays stretched through caverns carved from solid rock, each one humming with energy that bent space and time itself. 30 years, he said to his assistant, Dr. Min Ayu. 30 years since we found the first crashed alien ship. Every piece of technology we recovered taught us something new about quantum mechanics. Minna nodded, checking her instruments. The aliens understand quantum physics, but they use it conventionally. We discovered something they never imagined. Quantum entanglement can be weaponized on a galactic scale. They think in terms of ships and energy beams, Tae-Young continued. We learned to think in terms of probability and instantaneous connection. Their weapons travel through space. Ours ignore space entirely. On Mars, engineer Hee-Jin Lim supervised the final preparations of the quantum artillery network. The red planet's surface was dotted with disguised installations, each one connected through quantum links to targets throughout the galaxy. All systems are ready, Dr. Han, she reported through the quantum communication system. We have lock-on confirmation. For primary targets, supply stations, communication relays, and patrol routes, they'll never see it coming. Captain Minho Kang continued his reconnaissance of the alien fleet from his stealth ship. The more he studied their vessels, the more confident he became in humanity's chances. They're using standard Imperial designs, he reported to Earth Command. No customization, no adaptation for unknown threats. These ships are built for fighting enemies who use the same technology they do. Lieutenant Sujin Kwan worked frantically in the intelligence division, analyzing every piece of intercepted alien communication. The Empire operates on complete automation, she told her team. Standard protocols for everything. They've never needed to adapt because overwhelming force always worked before. Admiral Hyunwoo Kim coordinated with defense stations throughout the solar system. Remember, this isn't about destroying them, he told his commanders. We need to demonstrate our capabilities without starting a galactic war. Precise strikes, minimum casualties. Aboard the alien command ship, Vexthar grew increasingly frustrated as his deadline approached. His sensors detected unusual activity throughout the solar system, but nothing that looked like military preparation. They're moving cargo ships between their colonies, he told Ithara. Probably evacuating important personnel before we destroy their planet. But Ithara's instruments told a different story. Commander, those aren't cargo movements. The energy signatures are all wrong, and I'm detecting quantum fluctuations that shouldn't be possible with their technology level. You worry too much, Vexithar replied. Prepare the bombardment fleet. When their deadline expires, we'll show them the price of defying the Empire. President So-Young Park gathered with Earth's leadership in the deep bunker beneath Seoul. Through quantum communicators, she could speak instantly with Dr. Tae-Young Han on the Moon, Engineer Hye-Jin Lim on Mars, and Admiral Hyun-Woo Kim in orbit. Are we really going to do this? Asked Defense Minister Dong Hyun Lee. If we're wrong about our capabilities, we're condemning our entire species. If we surrender, we're condemning our species anyway, So-Young replied. At least this way, we go down fighting. Dr. Tae-Young's voice came through the communicator with quiet confidence. Madam President, our calculations are solid. The quantum artillery will work. The question is whether we're prepared for what comes after. What do you mean? So-Young asked. Once we demonstrate these weapons, we become the most dangerous species in the galaxy, Tae-Young explained. Every civilization will either want to ally with us or destroy us before we become too powerful. Strategic Commander Jae-Hyun Shin had been studying galactic politics through intercepted communications. The Empire rules through fear and overwhelming force. If we break that image, their entire system of control starts to crumble. As the 48-hour deadline approached, Vexthar ordered his fleet into attack formation. His massive ships moved with predatory grace, their weapons charging with energy that could crack continents. Broadcast final surrender terms, he commanded. Tell them they have 1 hour to reconsider before we begin orbital bombardment. But the human response came immediately. President So-Young Park's voice filled the alien ship's communication systems one more time. War Commander Vexthar, your time is up. You chose to threaten humanity's home. Now you will learn why that was a mistake. Vexthar laughed, the sound echoing through his ship's bridge. Brave words from a dead species. Begin the attack. Deep in the lunar facility, Dr. Tae-Young Han placed his hand on the quantum artillery control. This is for every species you've enslaved, he whispered. The quantum weapons fired. In the same instant, 3 Valtharian supply stations 50 light-years away simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed by explosions or energy beams, but erased from space-time itself as quantum entanglement collapsed their molecular structure across impossible distances. Vexthar stared at his communication console as emergency signals flooded in from across his sector. 17 automated patrol fleets had gone silent simultaneously. Supply lines throughout the Empire were reporting catastrophic losses. Impossible, he breathed. Ithara's instruments screamed warnings as space-time distortions rippled through the solar system. Commander, they just struck targets throughout the galaxy without moving a single ship. Their weapons don't travel through space. They ignore space completely. For the first time in 3 centuries of conquest, War Commander, Vexthar felt fear. The quantum artillery had spoken, and the galaxy trembled. Dr. Tae-Young Han watched the results of humanity's first strike flow across his screens deep within the lunar facility. 3 supply stations, 17 patrol fleets, and dozens of automated defense platforms had vanished in the same instant. The impossible had become reality. Direct hits on all primary targets, reported Dr. Min Ayu, her voice filled with awe. The quantum entanglement held stable across 50 light-years. The weapons worked exactly as calculated. War Commander. Vexthar stared at his tactical display in growing horror as reports flooded in from across the Valtharian Empire. His communication officer's voice shook as he delivered each new piece of devastating news. Sir, Sector Command reports that Supply Station Helix 7 has completely vanished. No debris, no energy signatures, just empty space where it used to be. Battle Group Epsilon is not responding to communications. Their last known position shows no ships, no wreckage, nothing. The automated defense grid around Kepler Mining Station has gone completely silent. Science Navigator Ithara studied her instruments with growing understanding and terror. Commander, these aren't conventional attacks. The humans have weaponized quantum entanglement on a scale we never imagined possible. They're not just hitting our targets, they're erasing them from existence itself. Vexthar's mandibles clicked nervously. In over 300 conquest campaigns, he had never encountered anything like this. How is that possible? Our intelligence reports showed they barely understand basic physics. Our intelligence was wrong, Ithara replied grimly. They've been studying our technology for decades, maybe longer, and they've found ways to use quantum mechanics that we never developed. On Earth, Colonel Wu Jin Park coordinated the planet's military response from the orbital command station. The alien fleet was trying to retreat, but something was preventing their faster-than-light drives from engaging. The quantum weapons create localized space-time distortions, explained Dr. Tae-Young through the communication link. Their jump drives can't function in disrupted space. They're trapped in our solar system. Admiral Hyunwoo Kim watched the enemy fleet's desperate attempts to escape with grim satisfaction. After centuries of terrorizing other species, they finally met someone who fights back. Captain Yoon-seo Kim led Squadron 7 in the first combat test of Earth's new quantum phase fighters. Her ship shimmered and disappeared from normal space, reappearing behind an alien patrol vessel before it could react. Phase drive working. Perfectly, she reported. The enemy can't track us when we're quantum shifted. We can attack from any angle and vanish before they can respond. Her squadron moved like ghosts through the alien formation, their weapons precisely targeting engines and communication arrays rather than destroying the ships completely. Earth's strategy was to disable and capture, rather than kill. Aboard the alien command ship, panic spread through the crew as more reports of impossible attacks reached them. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were winning using technology that violated every known law of galactic warfare. Commander, our faster-than-light communications are being jammed, reported the communication officer. We can't contact High Command or request reinforcements. Vexthar realized with growing horror that his fleet was completely cut off. How are they jamming quantum entanglement communications? Ithara studied the interference patterns with growing respect for human ingenuity. They're not jamming them. Commander, they're redirecting them. Every message we try to send is being rerouted through their quantum network first. General Kyung-Soo Yoon implemented the next phase of humanity's plan from his command center on Mars. The quantum artillery targeted specific Empire installations with surgical precision, power plants, communication relays, and manufacturing centers. Remember, we want to disable their infrastructure, not commit genocide, he reminded his weapon operators. Each strike sends a message. We can reach any target in the galaxy whenever we choose. Engineer Hee-Jin Lim monitored the quantum network's performance as it handled dozens of simultaneous attacks across vast distances. "The system is holding steady," she reported. "We can maintain this level of operations indefinitely." Lieutenant Sujin Kwan intercepted and decoded alien military communications, providing real-time intelligence about Empire troop movements and strategies. "More fleets are heading toward Earth," she warned, "but they're moving cautiously. Word is spreading about what happened here." The galaxy's other civilizations watched in amazement as reports reached them about humanity's impossible victory. Species that had suffered under Empire rule for centuries began to whisper about hope. Captain Min-Ho Kang piloted his stealth ship directly toward the alien command vessel. His mission was the most dangerous part of humanity's plan. Boarding the enemy flagship to capture War Commander Vexthar alive. "Silent storm approaching target," he reported. "Beginning docking procedures." His ship attached to the alien vessel's hull using quantum phase technology that bypassed their shields completely. Within minutes, Min-Ho and his boarding team were inside the enemy ship. The alien crew had never experienced a boarding action. Their ships were designed to fight at long range, not defend against enemies who could appear anywhere inside their own vessel. Vexthar found himself facing human soldiers in his own command center, their weapons trained on him with calm professionalism. "War Commander," Min-Ho said through his translation device. "I am Captain Min-Ho Kang of Earth Defense Forces. You are now my prisoner." "This is impossible," Vexthar protested. "Your species was supposed to surrender. The Empire always wins." "Not this time," Min-Ho replied. "Your Empire made a mistake when it threatened humanity's home. We don't surrender. We adapt." Dr. Mina Yu explained the scientific breakthrough to the captured aliens as human medical teams treated their wounded. "Your species developed quantum physics for faster-than-light travel and communication. You use it as a tool for movement and information. Humans developed quantum physics for warfare," she continued. "We learned to weaponize probability itself. Every quantum particle in the universe is potentially connected to every other particle. We just figured out how to exploit that connection." The implications terrified Ithara. "You could destroy any target anywhere in the galaxy without warning." "We could," Mina agreed. "But we choose not to. Humanity doesn't conquer, we defend, and sometimes we make friends." President So-Young Park addressed the galaxy through hijacked Empire communication networks, her message reaching every inhabited world in known space. "People of the galaxy," she began. "Today, humanity took its first steps beyond our home system. We did not come as conquerors or slavers. We came as defenders of freedom. The Veltharian Empire told us to surrender or die. Instead, we offer a third choice: cooperation. Any species that wishes to live in peace has humanity's protection. Any species that chooses aggression will face the consequences." Fleet Admiral Zeftar received the emergency transmission while en route to Earth with the Empire's 7th Battle Group. The message was impossible to believe. War Commander Vexthar's entire fleet disabled or captured by a primitive species. "Increase speed to maximum," he ordered his fleet. "These humans got lucky once, they won't get lucky twice." But as his ships approached the solar system's edge, space itself seemed to resist their passage. Quantum distortions made faster-than-light travel increasingly difficult until finally, his entire fleet dropped back into normal space. "Welcome to Earth's solar system," came a transmission from the human fleet. "Please state your intentions." Zeftar stared at his sensors in disbelief. The space around him was filled with human ships, not just the few hundred they were supposed to have, but thousands of vessels of designs he had never seen before. "Impossible," he whispered. "Where did they all come from?" Fleet Admiral Zeftar had commanded the Empire's 7th Battle Group for over 2 decades, conquering dozens of star systems with overwhelming force. Now he stared at his tactical displays in complete confusion as his massive fleet found itself surrounded by thousands of human vessels. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his science navigator. "Our intelligence reported that humans have fewer than 300 ships total." "Sir, these vessels are not showing up on our conventional sensors," the officer replied nervously. They're using some kind of stealth technology that makes them nearly invisible until they choose to reveal themselves. Admiral Hyun Woo Kim watched the alien fleet's confusion from his command ship with grim satisfaction. They're seeing the quantum phase ships for the first time, he explained to his staff. Every human colony, every mining station, every exploration vessel has been equipped with phase shift technology. We can hide entire fleets in quantum space until we need them. President So-Young Park transmitted directly to Fleet Admiral Zeftar, her voice calm and professional despite the enormous stakes. Fleet Admiral, I am President So-Young Park of the United Earth Government. Your war commander Vexthar is in our custody, alive and well. His crew is receiving medical treatment. We have no desire to kill anyone, but we will defend ourselves. Zeftar's translator crackled as he responded with typical Imperial arrogance. Release our personnel immediately, Primitive. The Empire does not negotiate with lesser species. Then you have learned nothing from what happened to your forward fleet, So-Young replied. Let me make our position clear. Earth claims this entire star system as sovereign human territory. Any unauthorized military vessels will be disabled and their crews taken prisoner. You cannot be serious, Zeftar protested. One primitive world cannot challenge the might of the entire Galactic Empire. Strategic Commander Jae-hyun Shin activated the next phase of humanity's demonstration. Quantum artillery platforms throughout the solar system charged their weapons, targeting specific systems on each alien ship with pinpoint accuracy. Admiral Zeftar, Jae-hyun's voice filled the alien command ship. You have 10 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. If you refuse, we will disable your ships by force. This is madness, Zeftar muttered, but his tactical officer was already reporting alarming readings. Sir, they have weapons locked onto every ship in the fleet. Energy signatures unlike anything in our databases, and I'm detecting massive power buildups from multiple directions. Dr. Tae Young Han coordinated the quantum weapons network from the lunar facility, his targeting computers tracking every enemy vessel simultaneously. All platforms report ready, targeting engines and weapon systems only. We want prisoners, not corpses. When Zeftar refused to stand down, the quantum artillery fired. In an instant, every ship in the alien fleet lost power as their engines and weapon systems simply vanished from existence. The massive vessels drifted helplessly in space, their crews stunned by weapons that worked beyond their understanding. Boarding operations commence now, ordered Colonel Woo Jin Park as hundreds of human ships moved to dock with the disabled alien vessels. Captain Min Ho Kang led the boarding of Zeftar's flagship, his team moving efficiently through the alien ship's corridors. Unlike the panic they expected, they found alien crew members sitting calmly at their stations. They're not resisting, reported one of his soldiers in surprise. They're in shock, Min Ho realized. They've never been defeated before. They don't know how to react. Fleet Admiral Zeftar met his captors with dignity despite his confusion. I am Fleet Admiral Zeftar of the Imperial 7th Battle Group. I demand to know how you achieved victory against superior forces. Superior forces? Min Ho asked politely. Admiral, your ships are certainly bigger than ours, but size isn't everything in warfare. Dr. Min Ayu joined the conversation, eager to explain humanity's scientific breakthrough to another alien. Mind. Your species mastered quantum physics for travel and communication, but you use it conventionally, following established patterns and protocols. Humans approach science differently, she continued. We experiment, we innovate, we find new ways to use existing knowledge. When we studied your crashed ships, we didn't just copy your technology, we improved it. Commander Ye-jin Choi handled the diplomatic aspects of the mass prisoner situation. Instead of treating the captured aliens as enemies, human medical teams provided aid to injured crew members and offered food and comfort to confused soldiers. This is not how conquest works, Zeftar told Min Ho in bewilderment. We expected torture, interrogation, demands for information. Instead, you offer medical care and hospitality. We're not conquerors, Min Ho explained. We're defenders. There's a difference. Meanwhile, Across the galaxy, news of the Empire's second devastating defeat spread like wildfire. The Kepler Federation, a group of planets that had maintained uneasy independence on the Empire's borders, sent urgent diplomatic messages to Earth. Ambassador Shung-Ho Lee received the first official communication from another galactic civilization. They want to establish formal relations, he reported to President So-young. They're offering alliance against the Empire. Other species that had suffered under imperial rule began reaching out secretly, asking if humanity's protection extended beyond Earth's solar system. The galactic balance of power was shifting rapidly. Lieutenant Sujin Quan monitored imperial communications networks as panic spread throughout their territory. Their high command is in chaos, she reported. Some want to negotiate, others are calling for massive retaliation. They're arguing about whether humans are a threat to be eliminated or a force to be appeased. Dr. Tae Young Han revealed the true scope of Project Prometheus to the captured Imperial officers. Every human colony, every exploration ship, every research station is now connected through quantum-linked weapons networks. We can strike any target in the galaxy instantly from any location. The implications terrified even Zeftar, a veteran of hundreds of battles. You could destroy entire civilizations without warning. We could, Tae-young agreed, but we won't. Humanity doesn't seek to rule the galaxy. We want to explore it, learn from it, and protect those who cannot protect themselves. President So-young Park made another galactic broadcast, this time offering terms for peace with the Empire. We hold 2 Imperial fleets and their commanding officers, she announced. We return them in exchange for formal recognition of human territorial claims and a non-aggression pact. The Empire leaves us alone and we leave the Empire alone. However, she continued, any Imperial attack on species under human protection will be considered an act of war. We offer our quantum communication technology freely to any civilization that wishes peaceful cooperation. The broadcast sent shockwaves through Imperial High Command. No defeated enemy had ever offered terms to the Empire. The concept of negotiation between equals was foreign to their entire system of governance. Former War Commander Vexthar found himself in an unprecedented position, a prisoner who was treated as a guest. During his conversations with Captain Min-ho Kang, he began to understand something that shook his worldview. Your species doesn't fear us, he observed during one of their discussions. Should we? Min-ho asked curiously. Every other species we've encountered either submitted immediately or fought desperately before being crushed, Vexthar explained. But you humans seem curious about us, even after we threaten to destroy your world. Threats don't define who you are, Min-ho replied. Actions do, and your actions since becoming our prisoner show honor and dignity. This conversation would later be recorded in Imperial historical archives as the first time a human had complimented an Imperial officer's character rather than their military prowess. Engineer Hee-jin Lim coordinated with teams throughout the solar system as they began sharing quantum communication technology with their new alien allies. The network is expanding rapidly, she reported. We now have instant communication links with the Kepler Federation and 3 other independent systems. As word of humanity's technological gifts spread, more civilizations began approaching Earth. Some sought alliance, others offered trade agreements, and a few requested protection from Imperial expansion. The galaxy was learning that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their quantum artillery. It was their willingness to turn enemies into friends and build cooperation instead of conquest. 3 months after the failed Imperial invasion, Earth's orbital stations bustled with activity unlike anything in human history. Ships from dozens of different species docked at the newly constructed interstellar diplomatic complex, their crews marveling at humanity's rapid adaptation to galactic civilization. Ambassador Seung-ho Lee walked through the diplomatic quarter, greeting representatives from the Kepler Federation, the Altair Republic, and even former Imperial colonies that had declared independence after hearing about Earth's victory. Ambassador Lee called out Federation Representative Thisara, her crystalline form shimmering with excitement. The quantum communication network has connected our entire sector. For the first time in centuries, we can coordinate defense, Against Imperial raids, Seung-ho smiled, adjusting his translation device. That's exactly what we hoped for when President So-young proposed the cooperation treaty. In the medical bay of the diplomatic complex, Dr. Hae-won-jung worked alongside Vexithar, the former war commander who had chosen to remain on Earth as a cultural exchange liaison. Together, they studied the psychological effects of perpetual warfare on Imperial military personnel. Most of your soldiers suffer from what we call combat fatigue, Hae-won explained, reviewing brain scans from Imperial prisoners. Your entire military system is built on constant conflict. Your people never learn to live in peace. Vexthar studied the data with growing understanding. We were raised to believe that conquest brought meaning to life. Without enemies to defeat, we felt purposeless. But you've found purpose here, Hae-won observed. Helping us understand Imperial culture, facilitating prisoner exchanges, building bridges between our species. Yes, Vexthar agreed, his mandibles clicking in what humans had learned was his species' equivalent of a smile. For the first time in my life, I am creating something instead of destroying it. President So-young Park stood before the newly established Galactic Assembly on Luna, addressing representatives from 47 different worlds. The Great Hall had been constructed using both human engineering and alien architectural principles, creating a space that felt welcoming to multiple species. 3 months ago, the Valtharian Empire threatened to destroy our world, she began. Her words translated instantly into dozens of languages. Today we gather not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals seeking a better future for all our peoples. The audience included not just Earth's new allies, but also Imperial representatives who had come to negotiate the return of captured personnel. The sight of former enemies sitting together in peaceful discussion would have been impossible before humanity's intervention. Chief Engineer Sang-min demonstrated the latest developments in quantum technology to a mixed group of human and alien scientists. By combining our understanding of quantum mechanics with Altarian crystal matrix technology and Kepler Federation biocomputing, we've created communication systems that work across galactic distances without any delay. Dr. Kethan of the Altair Republic studied the quantum equations with obvious admiration. Your species approaches science with remarkable creativity. Where we see limitations, you see opportunities for innovation. That's the human way, Sang-min replied. Every problem is just a puzzle waiting to be solved. Fleet Admiral Zeftar had requested a private meeting with Admiral Hyun-woo Kim to discuss the transformation of galactic military doctrine. The two commanders sat in Earth's orbital command center, studying holographic displays of ship movements throughout local space. Your defensive strategies are completely unlike anything in Imperial military theory, Zeftar admitted. We focused on overwhelming force and rapid conquest. You focus on protection and cooperation. Different goals require different methods, Hyun-woo replied. The Empire conquers to control. Humanity defends to preserve freedom. Our entire military philosophy reflects that difference. And it works, Zeftar acknowledged grudgingly. Your human doctrine has accomplished in 3 months what the Empire couldn't achieve in 3 centuries. You've united multiple species in willing cooperation. Lieutenant Sujin Kwan had been promoted to Director of Interstellar Intelligence, coordinating information sharing between Earth and its new allies. Her latest report to President So-young contained encouraging news from across the galaxy. Imperial expansion has stopped completely, she reported. High Command is too busy dealing with independence movements and diplomatic requests to launch new conquest campaigns. 17 former Imperial colonies have declared sovereignty and requested human protection. And the Empire's response? So-young asked. Surprisingly peaceful, Sujin replied. It seems they're more interested in avoiding further confrontation with our quantum weapons than in maintaining control over rebellious colonies. Dr. Tae Young-han had been working with a team of human and alien scientists to develop peaceful applications of quantum-linked technology. Their research station on Mars had become a model of interspecies cooperation. We're not just sharing our weapons technology, he explained to visiting dignitaries. We're developing medical scanners that can diagnose diseases instantly across vast distances, terraforming equipment that can transform dead worlds into garden planets, and exploration probes that can map entire star systems simultaneously, the eye. Peaceful applications of humanity's quantum breakthrough were proving even more revolutionary than the military ones. Species that had struggled with resource shortages and environmental disasters found themselves with solutions they had never imagined possible. Commander Ye-Jin Choi coordinated the gradual release of Imperial prisoners as goodwill gestures toward the Empire. Each group of returned soldiers carried with them stories of human hospitality and technological marvels that challenged Imperial propaganda. "They don't understand why we're being kind to them," she reported to the diplomatic staff. "Most have never experienced generosity from an enemy before." The cultural exchange program between Earth and former Imperial personnel had unexpected benefits. Imperial soldiers learned human concepts of cooperation and innovation, while humans gained valuable insights into galactic politics and technology. Captain Minho Kang commanded the joint exploration vessel Harmony as it prepared for humanity's first diplomatic mission to Imperial space. His crew included both humans and former Imperial officers working together to establish formal peace negotiations. "Are you ready for this?" he asked Vexthar, who would serve as diplomatic liaison during their mission to the Imperial capital. "I am honored to serve as bridge between our peoples," Vexthar replied. "Though I must warn you, Imperial High Command still struggles to accept that they were defeated by a species they considered primitive. Then we'll have to show them what cooperation can accomplish," Minho said with quiet confidence. President So-Young Park's final address to the Galactic Assembly established what would become known as the Human Doctrine, the principle that advancement came through cooperation and innovation rather than conquest and subjugation. "Today marks the end of the Age of Empire," she declared. "No longer will strong species prey upon weak ones. No longer will technology be hoarded by the few while many suffer. From this day forward, the galaxy belongs to all its children equally." The End Treaty that emerged from the Assembly created the Interstellar Cooperation Council, with Earth serving as neutral ground for diplomatic negotiations and humanity's quantum communication network providing the infrastructure for galactic governance. 5 years later, the transformation was complete. The Vialtharian Empire had evolved into the Vialtharian Federation, focusing on exploration and scientific advancement rather than conquest. Former Imperial colonies had become independent worlds united by quantum communication networks and mutual defense pacts. Vexthar stood beside Captain Minho Kang on the bridge of their exploration vessel as it approached the edge of the galaxy, where new worlds and unknown civilizations waited to be discovered. The former war commander had become humanity's most trusted ambassador to alien species, his transformation from conqueror to peacemaker inspiring similar changes throughout the former empire. "Do you ever regret the path that brought us here?" Minho asked his friend as they prepared to make first contact with a previously unknown civilization. Vexthar's mandibles clicked in contentment. "How can I regret a journey that led me to understand the difference between taking by force and building through friendship?" The exploration vessel transmitted humanity's standard first contact message to the newly discovered world. Not a demand for surrender, but an invitation to join a galaxy where cooperation replaced conquest and every species contributed to the common good. Behind them, the quantum communication network carried news of their discovery instantly across hundreds of worlds, where beings of dozens of different species worked together to build a future their ancestors had never dared to imagine. Humanity's greatest victory had not been the defeat of the Galactic Empire, but the proof that enemies could become allies, and that the universe was vast enough for everyone to find their place among the stars.